Hi, my name is Carlos, and welcome to my video. Today I want to talk about the time I went to Mexico last year. Now, I've been to Mexico a couple of times. First time was like around 2016, and in last December I went again. And it was a really good time. I had a great time meeting up with my family again, my mom's family to be exact, and also get to see like certain places, revisit some old places, and also try out food, of course. So yeah, this video is just to document my experience going to Mexico City, and just share what I experienced, what I found out over there. And this video was to just show what happened and how I felt about the whole experience. So it had been like almost 2 years since I've been to Mexico City. My mom's family's from there. Most of her siblings are over there. So I went to Mexico City for Christmas and New Year's. And my mom, my brother, and I went there to, go visit the family, see some sights, and, just have a good time. And, pretty much at the start of it was pretty much what you expect. For this trip, we went by plane. We decided to do plane this time because bus, it's kind of a hassle, especially when you're going from the US to Mexico, but also to Mexico City, which is a lot more south. So if you're somewhere in Texas or any bordering state that you want to go to the northern part of Mexico, bus is fine. But for us, it's not really much of a good option, but you do save some money. But plane and bus have their own pros and cons, but for the plane, it just outweighed more of the pros just to go over there than it is by bus. But even so, plane had its own things as well. But the way it started was that I got up around 4 or 5 in the morning. This was after last night. My family and I were packing our bags. Yes, we were doing that the night before, but don't ask. So I was just on a few hours of sleep. Luckily, I was able to reserve an Uber well in advance, just so that way we were just being dropped off. We didn't have to look for parking. We always try to aim at least 3 hours before a flight. So we got into the Uber. We loaded up all our stuff in the Uber, and we drove over there. Got dropped off at a terminal, but also carrying a lot of this stuff. So I was not only carrying my personal stuff, but also carrying this big fucking duffel bag full of gifts, because we were also doing Christmas gifts for the family and also New Year's as well. By the time we got there by the terminal, there was a lot of people already. So there was people heading out for the holidays, as you expect. It was wall-to-wall people, and we were trying to basically push through to get to the kiosk to get our boarding passes and also pay for the baggage fees and drop off the big duffel bags. And once we were able to do that, we went to go into the line, waited through customs, get scanned and stuff like that. Then finally, we made it to our gate with an hour and a half to spare. So we just chilled for a bit, then we grabbed something to eat. Then by the time we were called up to go, we just found our seats, which we paid a little bit extra just for all 3 of us to be close together rather than randomly. And normally my plane experience has been okay, to say the most. I've been in planes where they had turbulence. I've been in planes where the cabin pressure is really intense, that it gives you a migraine or something. But for this plane, at least the one taking off to go to Mexico, the only annoying thing I found was that it was this humming or buzzing sound that was constant. But I just put on music and watched a couple of TV shows just to pass the time. It wasn't a long flight. I want to say it's an hour and a half flight from Houston to Mexico City, so it wasn't that too bad. So once we landed into Mexico City, we got our stuff, went through customs, went through the security, and eventually out. But unfortunately, since my mom was texting my aunt, because we were staying in the house that they all grew up in, my mom and her siblings, where my aunt currently lives in, my aunt was still at work, And we, at the time before, we didn't find the spare key that we made the last time we were there, so we were kind of relying on my aunt. But yeah, she said she wasn't not going to be able to like open and like be there in time for us to go over there. So we had to spend some time in the airport, just kind of killing time, etc. But my uncle, who also lives in the house, we assumed that he was going to be busy too with his job, but luckily he said that he was about to head home, so he would meet us there. So we took another Uber over there. We got over there. He helped us out with the luggage, and we just crashed onto the couch, and that was it. But basically, we were just tired from that day. But we did have to do something important once we got to Mexico. It was to shop for the stuff, like mainly food, for the Christmas Eve party. But we were so tired that we just had to just push it over to the next day, which would be Christmas Eve, which turned out to be an interesting story in itself. So when it was Christmas Eve, we were hosting the party, so we had to get all the stuff. My mom said we're gonna go to Costco. And normally for us back home, when we go to Costco, we tend to go on the days that it's not busy. Like, we tend to go when there's little to nothing of people there, because it does get crazy when there's a lot of people. But unfortunately for us, we're not at home. We're in another place, and it's different, but we still went to Costco as usual. When we got there, it was kind of busy, but it wouldn't be insanely busy once we got into the store. And so once we grabbed some of the stuff that we needed, which, remember, there wasn't even a line for, like, I guess cheesecake or something. We didn't need that, but it was just like, it's pretty much what I said. It's just like people were just waiting in line for stuff. I mean, I think there was a line for meats as well. There were some people that were waiting out like in the back doors of like where the butchers were. And so it was just like basically people rushing in, doing things at the last minute, which is something I don't like. But again, we were in different circumstances because we weren't at home per se. Now, once we got everything like loaded up, we went in line. But by the time we went in line, the line had extended all the way to, I want to say, around the snacks to the clothes section. So basically, almost near the middle of the warehouse. So yeah, it was a long line, and it was super like crowded and close. It's kind of something like this. I was there for like 10 plus minutes there. But then it's just pushing slowly, making our way there, and all that other stuff. But once we got to the checkout line and did everything, we just headed home and got the hell out of there, man. But but the day wasn't over. We still had to prep for the Christmas Eve party. So my mom and my aunt were setting up food and stuff like that. I was just helping out with the gifts and stuff like that. And also I just got changed into something more nice, and also helped set up the table since my aunt rented out a table for have a big family style feast. And so we're just prepping, just trying to get through everything before the guests showed up. Primarily my mom's other siblings, because her other two brothers live in their own homes, but they decided to come over for the Christmas Eve party. And so by the time we had everything squared away, all of our guests came in. It was nice to see my uncles and my aunts as well, and also my cousins. It had been I want to say almost 2 years. They've grown up more than the last time I remember seeing them, so it was nice seeing them again. So it was nice seeing my aunts and uncles, also my cousins who they have actually grown up quite a bit since the last time I saw them, so it was pretty nice to see them again. Pretty much we had a good time. We ate good food. They asked me how I'm doing, what I've been up to. They also asked the same thing with my mom and my brother. And while that was going on, the apartment complex where we were at, they also do their own Christmas celebration as well, where all the tenants just go down to the first floor and they start, smacking piñatas for the kids. And so we all decided to go down there, and my cousins participated. And They just smacked the shit out of it, and they were just like having fun. I feel like they were the ones who took home the most payout for like the candies that were in there. I even helped them out holding it for them while they grabbed more. But yeah, it was fun to see that, and we just ended up with the night just having fun, and that was that. So the next day, we were doing Christmas. At that point, I already gave out my Christmas gifts to my mom and my brother before we left to Mexico, and my aunt and my uncle got their gifts the night before for Christmas Eve party. So we were just chilling until somewhere in the middle of the day, my mom was like, "Let's go somewhere." And so we went to this part in Mexico City that's like near the presidential palace. I forgot the name of it, but basically it's this big courtyard where there's like this big flag that's like a big Mexican flag that's just in the middle, like just there. And the cool thing about the area is that it does celebrate some of its holidays with these nice like big bright lights that are around the buildings, which looks pretty cool. I've seen some for when they were celebrating the Independence Day for Mexico, and also mostly for Christmas. So we decided to go there to see the lights again. And once we got there, it was a little busy. Pretty much everybody had the same idea as us for that Christmas Day event. But we saw vendors, we saw people selling, these like makeshift artisanal like bags and wallets. My mom bought like I think one of them. People were selling cotton candy, food, and also toys. There's like these light up toys where you just throw up and they just spin in the air and just fall down, which honestly sounds a little bit more concerning when it's a big open area, especially at night. But I mean, whatever sells, right? But I did get to see the lights there. It was really cool. I like how they're just attached to the walls. It just feels like we're actually a part of the building. It doesn't look pretty much shoddy or anything like that. It just looks pretty cool. They also did some like there's like the section there where they were throwing out like fake ice or fake snow, and it was just pretty cool. I got some really great shots from there. We also went through like this like light tunnel. They also had some tunnels made there. We just went through there. It was crowded, but I did like the lights, and it was still crowded as we were trying to get out of there. So I mean, as much as everybody had the idea to go see this, it was just like a lot of people. But once we were able to leave the area, my mom said, "You know what? Let's get something to eat." So we went to this restaurant called Pozo Cali. I think that's how you pronounce it. My mom says she went there when she was young. Said that there's like really great food. So we waited for like maybe 10 minutes to find a table. But once we got in, I liked the environment. I liked the atmosphere. It was pretty cool. I liked the food. I had like a steak fajita. I had this like little bowl of cheese with chorizo in it, and also some other stuff as well. But I ate really good. Not gonna lie. So this was probably one of the best restaurants I ate during the trip. But yeah, it was like really good. So we ended the night just taking an Uber, heading back home, and just went to sleep. So for the next day, my mom and my uncle Carlos, which yes, I get it, that my mom has a brother named Carlos, and my name is Carlos, but normally she just calls me by my middle name, so there wasn't really much confusion once we were there. But they were talking about going to see my grandma's house, or her grandma's house actually, and just to go over there and do the usual like cleanup, because normally mostly my uncle Carlos maintains the house apart from the other siblings. So since my mom was there, she decided to give him a helping hand, and she also takes investment into that house as well as much as my uncle Carlos. And so the drive there was pretty far. So my great grandma's house is way over there. It's like in an area called San Juan Cilactepec. Hopefully I pronounced it right, but no, I'll just throw this up there. And so it was kind of a nice road trip. I went with my cousin Danielle. We went to just drive like miles and miles of road got some food, went to drive more, until we eventually landed to the area. It was a nice, like quaint, like small Mexican town. It looks pretty nice, and there's also the area where my mom gets her cheeses and she takes back home, and they're pretty good cheese. So we made sure to go over there too, as part also to get some other stuff as well, like food for the dogs, because there's dogs over there in that house that kind of watch over. They're basically the security of the house, and obviously food for us as well, and some other things. So once we got over there, we just cleaned up the house. Sweep the floors, clean the kitchen, stuff like that. The house is relatively, not many people live there. I mean, we're gonna spend the night over there, but really wasn't much to clean other than the outside. Maybe do some trimming and just weeding out some plants and such. But that would be like the next morning. But for there, we just like cleaned a little bit, but also just relaxed. And we went up to this hill that's up there, because my great grandma's house is like on this kind of almost this hill. You just go up there a little bit more further. There's this church. It's kind of an abandoned church, I think. And you get this nice view of the town. And just went up there and just sat there and just chat. We just ate, just hanged out for a bit, but then we went to sleep. I was able to find my old Xbox 360 that I gave to my mom, who gave to my uncle. Turns out it ended up there, so I was able to find some old games like Call of Duty Black Ops, Borderlands 2. And so, we did play a little bit of that when we were over there. But yeah, it was funny to see that again. It was just my old Xbox. And then now I know where it ended up at. The next morning was pretty cold. This was probably the only day of the whole trip where the weather was actually cold. Because most of the time in Mexico City, it was kind of like how I dealt with in Houston, which it was like cold in the morning, but then it got warmer in the middle of the day to the evening. So the way I was packing for my clothes was just t-shirts and jeans and some other things, but nothing too heavy. I mean, I did carry a hoodie with me sometimes, but for this, I was completely wearing the clothes that I came in to the house with my hoodie and my jeans, because it was super cold. But it was I guess the altitude and the climate over there was just way different than it is over in Mexico City. Anyway, I woke up. I also saw my mom already starting, and also my Uncle Carlos also starting to like clean the area in the house. A lot of the places around the house, they have like these little trinkets. I like the bears and the penguins. They were just out there. But there was also some nice plants as well. I like that. And so I got to meet some of the dogs, who are like these big, like, I don't know what kind they are, but they're pretty big dogs. But again, that's kind of the point, since they are the security. But I spend the whole time just cleaning up there for the morning. But one of the reasons we also came there is that's where my grandparents are currently laid to rest. I don't know how often, but from time to time, I think my Uncle Carlos, but also my mom, whenever she does come to Mexico City, we do visit there. And we do visit to the cemetery where they are currently rested. And so we actually bought flowers prior to leaving the city to there for that. I didn't make much sense of it until I got there, because it's been a while since I've been to Mexico City, but we did get the flowers, and then we headed over there to the cemetery. Normally we just, you would just clean up the area of the plot, or the gravestone, I want to say. Just remove the dead flowers, put in new ones, clean up the tombstone a bit and such. So we just we went there where my grandparents were buried. Honestly, it's just it was nice. I had a good relationship with them. I really liked my grandpa a lot, and I kind of credit them for teaching me Spanish, because they didn't know any English at all, so it was kind of hard to communicate with them. So I had to talk to them in Spanish, which to some of my friends and some of the people who know me, my Spanish may be like so-so, but it was enough to, have a conversation with my grandparents, talk to them about things. Sometimes I do think about them. It's here and there sometimes, but you know, when I was over there, it was just made me think about, you know, the memories I had with them, and then up until the point that they had to go. So, yeah. So after we were done with that, we just, locked up everything. Everything was pretty much clean. So we just had to do that again, or at least my uncle Carlos had to do that again at some point. But yeah, we just did what we did that we needed to do over there, and then we just, grabbed some food for the go, and just headed back home. Just went to see some nice things. Heading into Mexico City, there was these like, I don't know what you call them, but they're kind of like ski lifts, but it's not really for skiers. But I saw them just passing by on the freeway. I think that was also pretty nice, and I actually wanted to try something like that. But we were just heading through into Mexico City and just went back home, and then we just ended the day there. So for like the next day, we decided to do some tourist stuff, like sightsee something. So my mom took us to the area that we actually went to once. I think it's called Hidalgo, something like that. But basically, why we wanted to go there was that they sell like a lot of like stuff. Namely for us, it was like collectibles, like toys and other things. Like Funkos, action figures, some memorabilia stuff. It's pretty cool actually. And maybe we thought we could get a good deal. I actually got some few things. I was able to buy these little like figurines from SpongeBob. We got Plankton here. We got Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Who else do I have? And this one's actually my favorite because it's Mr. Krabs playing the world's smallest violin. I think that's pretty cool. And I also got some other stuff, my brother as well. We also bought a gift for my brother. My cousin Daniel. He likes Fortnite, so we found like a Fortnite action figure there as well. But we went down further. We saw some nice things like handmade stuff. There was actually a poncho that actually looks pretty fucking cool. But I was like, no. I was like, I could use it, but like the Houston climate is like, it decides when it feels like it for the vibe. But it did look cool, but I was trying to just come to some sense like, do I really need it or not? But maybe next time when I go over there. As we went further down, there was the parks, and I just went through to see these nice trees and also like the buildings as well near downtown. That was when we went further down into a section, I want to say it's Coyoacan. That's like more of the very, very tourist. I took pictures of some like old school buildings, very classic Mexican architecture. Also went to some other places that you kind of tell that there is like, it is for tourists, because I can hear people speak English and also some people speaking other language. I think I did pick up on someone speaking German. I've been teaching myself German through Duolingo. I'm on like 100 and plus something on the streak, but I didn't want to try it out with it. Yeah, I went to go see like more of the area. It was pretty nice. I liked how the weather was nice. People were just, just having a good time, and I should have too, and I will say that. But further down, we did see this church, this very old church, and we went inside, and honestly, it's really beautiful. The paintings and the architecture inside is just really amazing. It was like very dimmed, but we were still able to see a lot of things. There was this one section in the church that was like very private, so we went in there, and my mom, she got on her knees into like that thing that you have in the church, is the little, I don't know what you call it, but it's just like this long line where you put your knees on. I did too, and I just kind of had a moment of reflection there. I didn't take any pictures there because it just didn't seem right, but I just had some time to self-reflect and such. So by then we were we were getting ready for the Christmas Eve party. We had maybe 3 days at that point left to go back home. So we went to my Uncle Carlos' house, who was actually hosting the New Year's Eve party. We did some errands and stuff, but by the time we got ready to go over there, we actually did bring food. We brought these, I guess you want to say like rolls, like these rolls that my mom made with these nice seasoning and olive oil and stuff. They were really nice. I'm only saying this because I had a lot of those. But we also brought in food as well for the event. And I went to see my cousins again. Went to visit my uncles. My other uncles did not show up. I don't know who. I know my uncle Mario did not show up, but I think the other two did show up. So when we got there, I saw my aunt and uncle, my cousins Danielle and Sarah. We're just chatting and stuff. It was kind of it was nice, but there was also the family of my Uncle Carlos's wife. Her family was there. They also brought a dog, which was I don't know, because when I think about those movies with the dogs, especially with a long table of food, they tend to jump up and just basically attack the food. But this dog didn't. He didn't even bark, so he was a well-trained dog, but still was surprised that someone brought a dog right there like that. But we just chatted again, and by the time it was for the countdown for the New Year's, just did that tradition where you eat grapes, and right before it goes down to 0 for the new year, there's just wishes. But we were just celebrating the New Year's, what we accomplished. I mean, honestly, for 2024 was a pretty good year for me. I started a new job. I left retail and went into a new job that paid a little bit more. It's not really where I want to be exactly, but it is something that I'm able to have a little bit more freedom and more investment into some things I like. So it was pretty nice, and they were able to give me the opportunity to just giving me the paid vacation days for me to go on this trip. So it was pretty good. So I was still happy, and just excited for what 2025 might bring. Hopefully I find another opportunity that makes me happy, but also just be able to take on new challenges and new opportunities to see and to grow, but also just I'll never forget where I came from before that. But still, I enjoyed 2024. But once the party was done, we were trying to find an Uber. We call it an Uber, but New Year's Eve in Mexico City seems to be a pretty hard challenge. It's either that there isn't any driver that wants to work on New Year's Eve, or so many people need an Uber that they're just gone like that. But we waited around 20 minutes to find one. We eventually did, and we just went home, and that was that. For the last 2 days, we just spent inside. We were just we kind of felt like we did everything and just wanted to chill and watch some TV shows, watch some movies with my aunt and my uncle. We had a good time, and the next day, on our last day, we just decided to just pack all of our stuff as we were about to head home. So we did that, and honestly, it was nice to see everybody. I said my goodbyes to my aunt and my uncle. My uncle did take us the night before we were about to leave. He did take us to a nice restaurant where, instead of eating Mexican food, we just went all American. We went to this Mexican restaurant, of course, but we did order a burger. And so, yeah, just decided to do that. It's just a little taste of home, but, it was nice seeing them again. It was nice seeing my aunt and my uncle, all my relatives, my cousins. They're really great people, and it was nice to see them, and hopefully I get to see them again soon. So on the day that we were leaving, I did reserve another Uber, which, by the way, the whole time for this trip, Ubers are relatively cheap, especially the XLs. I did get some that were like, in total, they were like around, I paid like $200 for all the Ubers I've taken, compared to the 2 Ubers I've taken here at home, from going to the airport and going from the airport back home. Both of those 2 cost almost half of what like a third or so of what I paid in Mexico City, and some of them I did include tips. Also, another tip, I would also download an app that converts currencies from US to pesos. It's been helpful, especially when trying to figure out the pricing for some things from what it usually costs, because we did have pesos in cash in hand, but we also did pay with card. We also tried to make sure to pay in pesos rather than dollars. Just a little tip when you're traveling abroad. It just seems to be more in the foreign currency than it is in the local currency. It's something I picked up in a video I saw. But once we headed to the airport, I grabbed more stuff. I thought I was done with the duffel bag, but nope. Just carrying the duffel bag again, full of other shit we bought over there. So that was great. But by the time we got over there, we did the usual thing that we did the first time around. Got our boarding passes. Just paid for the baggage fees, and then we went through the security and customs. There was some weird thing that we were stopped for. The customs didn't say what, but it held us for quite some time. But I don't know, it was just some weird bullshit that happened over there. But we were able to go over there and just find our seats and such, and we just hopped on the flight, and that was it. It was pretty nice. Actually, the flight there was pretty nice. There wasn't much issue. There wasn't even that humming noise that I found in the first plane. So I just relaxed, and then when I got home, I called in another Uber, which, by the way, over at the airport, back here at home, that was also a little bit of a nightmare. I almost lost my Uber because I couldn't figure out where he was, because it looked like he was above us since we were on the ground floor, but turns out he was around. But we're all going to find him, and then we went there and just made it back home. Honestly, the whole experience with the trip was pretty good. I had a lot of fun. I was able to just kind of take more investment into my creativity. I decided to take pictures and videos, but I decided to keep them for myself. I did tell my friends about this trip, and then one of them, a buddy of mine, he said that, did you make a vlog? And I was like, no. And he's like, you should. And his girlfriend said the same thing too, so I was like, okay, I'll try. But he said, you will, but so I decided to do this for them, but also for me, because I do like to make videos. I like to consider myself a storyteller, so I want to say thanks to Brian and Belkis. And hopefully I can make more content like this, whether that's going to another country, finding new places, whether that's abroad or here at home, making videos about just anything. I have a lot of ideas for some videos. I just have to figure out a good method and system where I'm going to make this video, rather than I would like to make this video, but I don't know how. So I like to thank everybody who just been supportive of my journey, and also just been interested in my life, I want to say. And also to my family back home, and not back home, but back over in Mexico City. Really nice. It was great seeing them. And also it was really nice to see my mom be able to go back home and meet some of her her family and friends. So that was great. I had a great time as well. Got to see a lot of amazing places, try good food, all that stuff. And my brother also had a great time as well. But this is the end of the video. Hope you like it. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the video, what videos you think I could probably do. I'm trying to do something within like movies, TV, gaming, also maybe something that's like self-improvement, also within computer science as well, because I do have a background in that. But I'll leave it all up to you guys in the comments. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys around. Thanks.